Hey, how's it going? My name is Matt Winningham. I study computer science here at UT. I'm a senior, and I'm a member of the 2023 Texas 4000 team. I currently serve as fitness coordinator for Texas 4000, along with my two other fellow fitness coordinators. We're responsible for, organizing the workouts, especially the Saturday morning workouts, as we sort of ramp up into getting on the bike, and that's been a really cool experience. I ride for my friend Noah, who I grew up with across the street from me when I was younger. Noah was born with Down syndrome, which often has a comorbidity of congenital heart defects, which unfortunately Noah was afflicted with. So he spent the first couple years of his life in and out of the hospital going through some pretty intense procedures to patch up his heart. And you hope that after someone goes through something like that, they get to live a quote-unquote normal rest of their childhood, but unfortunately that wasn't the case for Noah. A couple years later, around the time that he was 4 or 5, Noah was diagnosed with leukemia, and from that moment it meant that the next several years of his life would be a long battle with the disease, consisting of many rounds of chemotherapy, intense procedures like blood transfusions and bone marrow transplants and things like that. And the thing that always struck me about Noah was his resilience throughout the whole process. Every time I got to see him during his treatment, he always had a smile on his face, was always the person that was lighting up the room and making people laugh, which usually you think it might be the opposite. And that always really amazed me. There's this one anecdote that I always think about that I feel like was really indicative of who Noah is. One time right after he had gotten out of like a bone marrow transplant, as soon as he woke up, he looked over at the anesthesiologist and gave him a fist bump, which I always think is just so wonderful and really embodies who Noah is. And the other thing I kind of learned being around Noah during this time is the power of community. As soon as the news of Noah's diagnosis came, there was a whole community that kind of gathered around his family and helped support them through a process that no one should go through alone. Whether that was organizing auctions to raise money for cancer research, or doing light the night walks as sort of in honor of Noah and to also raise money, or just getting dinner for the family on a day when they'd had a really long day in the hospital. That I realized throughout that whole thing the power that community can provide for people that are struggling with a really difficult thing. And so I hope during this next year, and as I get on the bike and travel to Alaska, to reflect some of that resilience that Noah has embodied throughout his whole life, and to also provide hope and community for people that are affected by cancer or who have cancer themselves. So thanks for listening.